Hey y'all, I'm Jasmine and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about burnout. I know in a lot of my other videos, I talk about academic success, how to be a great student, but being a great student also means that sometimes you just don't feel like continuing to do all the work that you've been doing before. So burnout is a very real thing. So today I'm going to be telling you guys some tips that I use to deal with burnout so that I can keep pushing and finish the academic semester, because in reality, I just finished my last semester in the classroom and I was burned out, hence the reason I haven't posted lots of videos on my channel in the past few weeks. So if you guys are interested in hearing how I handle burnout, keep watching. Also, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to know more about me, my lifestyle, and pharmacy, and to get a dose of Jasmine. Thanks for watching, y'all. So first things first, before moving forward, it's beneficial to talk about the difference between burnout and depression. So there are a lot of things that overlap between the two, but there are some key things that can separate the two. And of course, as a student, I have looked up these things on my phone and I'm just gonna go through some of them. So for burnout, it often manifests itself as exhaustion, feeling alienated from work-related activities, and a reduction in performance. So for me personally, when I face burnout, or when I faced burnout recently over the past few weeks, I was tired, my energy level was not as high, and it was very difficult to do things that I once found very easy to do. So things like turning in assignments earlier than expected. When I was facing burnout personally, I turned in some assignments right before the due date, and I'm the type of student to do things early and make sure that things are done according to directions specifically. So with burnout, your drive is just not as high. And then beyond that, some students do face some drops in grades, or you may notice that your performance just isn't where it was before. So that's one of the symptoms of burnout. But burnout should not be mistaken for depression. So something key to remember about depression is that patients or people who experience depression do have some feelings of hopelessness. They may have some suicidal ideation. Overall, if you are concerned about whether or not you're experiencing depression versus burnout, it's beneficial to see a provider just to see what treatment options would be best for you, because burnout is essentially work or school related and depression may or may not be. So those are some of the key indicators to think about when trying to determine whether you are depressed or whether or not you're experiencing burnout as a student. Okay, so the first method for dealing with burnout as a student is, number one, learning when to say no. So there are going to be a lot of opportunities presented to you as a student, lots of things that you should do, but in reality, you should always remember that school is your main focus, so your grades are the most important. So for me personally, whenever I was presented with opportunities, if it didn't directly align with my post-graduation goals, or if it didn't align with my career goals, I just said no. And honestly, saying no is one of the easiest ways to protect your mental health and prevent burnout, because if you take on too many activities, if you put too much on your plate, it's very, very easy to burn yourself out. So number one, please just say no. So another thing, as a student pharmacist, I noticed that my mental health became more of a priority for me, because during my first year of pharmacy school, my mental health kind of suffered a little bit. I've talked about this a lot on this channel, but ultimately as a student pharmacist, I paid more attention to my mental health because it was at the forefront. And one of the things that I did to make sure that I didn't experience burnout was I scheduled therapy sessions. So I do have a therapist, and one of the things that added to my burnout is that I have anxiety. So a lot of student pharmacists have anxiety, and in reality, it's constant worry about things that necessarily don't require worrying. So grades, making sure that you do things on time. So honestly, going to therapy has been very helpful for me. In reality, it's helped me to realize that there are lots of methods that you can use to cope, and there are lots of methods that you can use to prevent burnout. So number two, if you have the financial means, or if your school offers therapy, please go. It's easy, and it's always great to talk to someone about life. So number two, try to go to therapy if you can. So tip number three ties directly into going to therapy, and for me, journaling has been so helpful. So I keep a journal and I write down my thoughts and feelings, and it helps me to, honestly, I can go back and look and see where I've come from, what I've accomplished, what has happened to me, what I've been feeling in certain moments. But honestly, journaling has been a great way for me to prevent burnout, because it honestly lets me write down things that I'm thankful for. It lets me show gratitude. It honestly just makes me sit down in the moment and think about my thoughts and feelings. So journaling has been so helpful for me, and honestly, it's one of the ways that I deal with burnout, and honestly, one of the ways that I prevent burnout. So the next thing for preventing burnout is finding a hobby. So it's really easy to be fixated on school and school alone and not doing anything else. But what I've learned is you have to have some type of outlet, because in reality, school continues every day. So as a student, you have to find a way to take some time to chill and figure out what are some things that you genuinely enjoy outside of the classroom. So for me, I started a YouTube channel, and honestly, it's kind of weird, but I do like sitting in my room and recording videos. Honestly, I like interacting with people online. So trying to find a hobby can help you to escape from school-related activities. Beyond that, lots of people do things like exercising. So I've also started exercising. I have started trying to cook more. So finding hobbies outside of school can help you to identify things that genuinely just make you happy. So try to find a hobby, because it can be really, really helpful. Spending time with loved ones is a great way to protect your mental health, especially while being a student pharmacist. And for me, spending time with loved ones has been a great way to prevent burnout, and a great way for me to realize that time is precious. The people around you are very precious. So it's always a great thing to spend time with people that care about you to prevent burnout, because school is not easy and it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. So when you can, try to spend time with those around you that you care about. Honestly, the next one seems kind of trivial, but just take a break. Like, for me personally, I'm very type A, and I always try to finish absolutely everything that's on my to-do list. But I have noticed that a to-do list is literally just a list of things that can be done, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be done today. So I know that's kind of difficult for some type A people like myself, but in reality, you should just take a break. So if you don't finish everything on your to-do list, it is okay. You'll be fine. Like, you have tomorrow to do whatever needs to be done. Like, don't stress yourself out to the point where you finish all the things on your to-do list, but you have zero energy to take care of yourself. So try to take a break. So the next tip for me would be to celebrate small victories. So as a student, it can be really difficult to just celebrate the small wins. Like, celebrate yourself when you submit an assignment on time. If you get an A on a quiz, obviously if you get an A on the test, if you even get a B, if you finish an assignment, anything, you have to celebrate the small wins, because in reality, all those small victories are getting you to the next point. So even if the quiz is a small percentage of your grade, honestly, celebrating the fact that you've done well in the quiz gives you that motivation to continue and continue to do well. So celebrating victories is one way to prevent burnout and to deal with burnout. Going along with celebrating small wins, it's also important to realize that you are not going to excel at absolutely everything as a professional student, and that's okay. So one of the major things that I had to learn to deal with was accepting when you don't necessarily do well in something, accepting failures, accepting rejections, because before pharmacy school, most students are basically great students. You are used to being accepted to everything. You are accustomed to being the student that makes all A's. But when you enter a program where everyone around you is smart, it can be quite difficult to adjust. So honestly, learning that not everything is meant for you. And one of my, I guess, key things that I like to remember is that what's meant for me is going to be. So if I get rejected for something, or if I fail at something, it's okay. I have tomorrow. I can always do better. But honestly, prevent burnout by realizing that although I haven't succeeded at everything, it's important to realize that I'm so much further than I was before in the past. So honestly, learning to accept failures is a great way to prevent burnout. My last tip for preventing burnout and dealing with burnout as a student is to practice self-care. And for everyone, self-care can be very different. For me, self-care is taking a very long shower. It is going to the gym. It is meal prepping and making food. For me, self-care is lots of things, but honestly, I enjoy beauty things. So doing my makeup, my nails, my hair, all those things. But in reality, taking care of yourself is so important, because in reality, your body is what's going to get you from point A to point B. And in pharmacy school, you literally have to take care of yourself to make sure that your grades are going to be great. So honestly, practice self-care and find some things that you genuinely enjoy to do for yourself, so that you can prevent burnout. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope it was helpful in teaching you guys some ways to prevent burnout and deal with burnout while being a student, because in reality, it can be difficult. So hopefully my video was helpful. Of course, if you guys are interested, check out another video. It's going to be popping up on the screen really soon. Again, thank y'all so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to know more about me, my lifestyle in pharmacy, and to get a dose of Jasmine. I'll see y'all in my next video.